Hi guys, today I'm going to do a really weird video and I'm doing it more to kind of document it for myself and remember the event while it's fresh in my mind. Something happened to me and I just want to tell you about it. It was a horrible thing, a horrible experience. Now this is not going out when I film it now, this is from the past because I can't actually put this video out yet because I've reported the incident. It needs to go through like proper channels before I can put the video out. So if there's any updates on the story, which I don't think there's going to be, I will put them down in the description. So if you watched, I did a book haul and I had a big bunch of flowers with me that my boyfriend had sent me to cheer me up, and I said I've had a horrible weekend, and I'd said on other social media like I've had a horrible weekend but I can't talk about it. This is the video. Now I'm going to talk about that horrible weekend and what happened to me. So the situation actually happened where I live here. I live in a big tower block. I share my flat with 6 other girls, and in this big block there's like 600 rooms, so a lot of people live here. Some of them are students and some of them are just private rental. You don't have to be a student to live here. It's not run by the university or anything. This happened on a Saturday. My boyfriend was staying with me. We don't live together and we can only see each other at weekends. So we'd had a great evening, everything was completely fine. Now I live quite high up in the building and we can't open our windows properly for security reasons. They have like a security catch on them, so my room gets incredibly hot. This was 1 AM on a Saturday, so it's like quite early for people who are going to go out or whatever. We went down to what's called the courtyard, and this is where the whole incident took place. So the courtyard is basically a bit of concrete with benches in it. It's like supposed to be our garden outside area. And you have the courtyard and then the building is built around it, so it's just massive tower block building all the way around it. It feels like you're in a prison cell and all you can see is people's windows into their bedrooms and flats. So we went to the courtyard, everything was fine, we were getting some fresh air, there was other people there. So we were sitting in the courtyard and I noticed a sound. So I looked up and it was coming from a flat that had beer cans like stacked up on the window. We have floor to ceiling windows in our kitchen and like half of it was just beer cans. So I noticed that's quite a distinct thing. Noticed that was in someone's kitchen. Saw there was loads of group of guys, they had their backs to me, but I could see that they were doing balloons, and that was the noise that I heard and why I looked up. The reason people do balloons is because I believe it's legal in the UK to do laughing gas and it gets you high. That's why people do them, and I think someone in this building definitely sells them. I think a lot of people in this building sell substances. But we do get a lot of things saying, do you want laughing gas? Do you want it? Posted for our doors. Didn't think anything of it. They're in their own flat. I don't care. They didn't see me looking. Whatever. So, now to the incident. My boyfriend was quite a few paces behind me. We got up to go out of the courtyard back to my bedroom. And to get to the door, you have to put a magnet against like a sensor thing. You have to wait a second and then you can go in, so you can't just run straight back in, and there's only one door that you can get access into my building where I live. We're walking just to leave. Obviously you don't think anything's going to happen or anything. There's no one else in the courtyard. As I'm walking to the door, the door is literally there from me. I'm walking, all this water comes down on me. I'm talking like they must have filled up a bucket full of water and thrown it on me, and it was coming from the flat that had all the beer cans and everything. So I screamed, had no idea what was happening, didn't know if it was water or something else, no idea. I stepped back as well so I'm not near the door. My boyfriend's like over near the bin putting something in the bin, and I'm here like screeching. They're shouting, laughing, everything like that. The incident does not stop there though, and this is where it gets like serious and beyond a little prank, which isn't even funny and it's just ridiculous. I then go to step forward and a bottle filled with water, it was this kind of bottle, so this is a 2 litres bottle, it was filled to the top with water and it had the cap done up, so that's incredibly heavy, literally just missed my body. It was so close to hitting me smack on the head. Now that was filled with water. Sorry about that, my camera just like shut itself off just as I was getting into it, but basically it was a bottle like this filled to the top with water, done up, fell from 5 stories high, was thrown down with force, nearly hit me on the head. So it literally missed me, made this massive sound on the floor. I think the bottle even split, but obviously at the time I wasn't like, oh, let me check. Like, I was just in shock. And just like a note on that, if that bottle would have hit me on the head, that could have killed me. Because it's that weight from that height, it's like throwing a brick at someone from 5 stories up. that could have cracked my head open and hit me. If it would have got me in the head, it would have definitely knocked me unconscious and I would have fallen on the concrete, because you can't take that amount of weight on your head. And they obviously threw it, they wanted it to hit me because it nearly did, and it's just that I stepped back that it didn't actually hit me. So they're still shouting and screaming at me and laughing. I then started throwing out plastic bottles that were like smaller plastic bottles filled with water. And again, if one of them would have hit me, I would have been knocked unconscious. And then my boyfriend steps forward and they just stop dead. And I think someone went like, oh shh, like that, and they didn't realise that I was with someone. They thought I was in the courtyard by myself, just like a girl by herself. When my boyfriend walked forward, they'd go completely silent when they see my boyfriend. They've turned their lights off at this point. We try and get in, I phone security at the building to say, because you have to report any instances. I say what's happened, and I was really shaken, and I was actually soaking wet from head to toe. I'm cold because it's really cold out and the water was freezing cold. Security in this building's useless. It's not on site, so they didn't come over, or they did, they didn't contact us. Like, I don't know what happened with security at this point because no one seems to know. So then I went back to my room. I had a shower straight away because I didn't know if it was water or not. I don't know what it is. I started just hysterically crying, and it was just a shock of the situation of one, having like water thrown over you, but then nearly being hit with something that heavy that literally could have killed me. And then humiliation set in. They were like laughing and shouting at me, this group of guys, so it was probably about 5 guys. I started hysterically crying. My boyfriend was so nice, and I remember I was like, we've got to do something, we've got to go to their flat. And he was like, Hannah, we can't. And I was like, we need justice. I was just like, we need justice. We need to get to the flat. Phone security again. If they don't come, I'm going over. But while like crying, and I'd just been in the shower and like washed my hair and everything, so I'm just in a towel like crying. So we're like, we need to get to that flat. I'm trying to be like light-hearted about the situation, because the situation at the time was awful, and now I still feel like, why? The whole situation, I'm just like, what? On the Monday, I went and lodged a complaint, a full report of what happened, and I was like, this is the incident. And as I said, I was trying to say where it was, so I was like, oh, it's on this side, and it's the flat with, and the person who I was doing the complaint with went, the flat with beer cans, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, has there been any incidences with them? And he was like, no, no, no. But there blatantly has, and they're just not doing anything about it. So I put in my complaint, and then he was like, oh, it's just going to be your word against theirs. There's security cameras in the courtyard. They could just look at this, like, I was trying to keep my cool. I was trying to be really, like, reasonable. So he was like, it's going to be your word against theirs. We need to get them to admit it. And I was just thinking, like, why? Why? It's my boyfriend and me, why would we lie about this? You can also look at the security cameras in reception, because I went into reception to phone the emergency line because the number was in there, and I'm soaking wet. So you could have, there's cameras they could look at. So he said all of that, and then I said, well, what's going to happen? And he was like, well, if they admit it, then they'll get a letter just warning them about their behaviour. What? The thing is, if that bottle would have hit me on the head and knocked me unconscious or cracked my head open or whatever, this wouldn't be being dealt with the building. This would have been dealt with the police, because our boyfriend would have had to call an ambulance, and an ambulance would come, and then the ambulance would obviously log it and call the police, and those boys would be arrested for this. But it's like, they're not getting punishment because the bottle didn't hit me, because I stepped back by complete coincidence. They threw it at me with force to hit me on the head with it, and just because I stepped back out of luck, thank the universe, thank everything, they are now going to get no punishment for what they did. And I just feel so angry about that right now. I feel so annoyed that they're going to get away with this senseless act. I also want to also, something that I like live my life by is treat everyone with respect, because you don't know what wars other people are facing. And that's right, those boys don't know that I might have been a self-harmer or suffered with depression or anxiety, or might have found it really difficult to come out of my room because I've got some mental health issue, and then they've just done that to me, and it could have caused a really bad effect. It could have caused me to spark me back to self-harm or whatever your situation is. Now I'm going to talk about how I think they should be punished. Do I think they should be just chucked out the building or whatever? No, but I do think what that should happen is the next step which the building do if you've got like multiple complaints against you, is that if you're at university, your university gets contacted and has to give you a formal warning. You don't get chucked off university courses in the UK unless you do something really bad, because you're paying to go to university in the UK. So you just get a warning and they see whether you've done anything else at university. Your guarantor gets phoned, which is normally people's parents, and I would like, which isn't in their protocol, but I think they should put it in, because if you don't pay your rent you get this as a punishment, is you should get the internet access taken out of their flat, which they can just unplug it in like rooms. That's how they do it if you don't pay your rent. That's what happens to you. And I think internet is a privilege that people use every day, and that privilege should be taken away from them because of their behaviour, because they can't live with people and their animals. I'm not like, lock them up and throw them out the building and put them on the street. I think my points, which I have said to the building in my report, I said like, I want the next step to be taken. Which they were like, no, it's a letter. So it ruined our weekend. I had to pay to get my clothes washed because we don't have washing machines in the flat. We have to like go to like the laundrette place, and I had to pay because I didn't know if it was water, like I wasn't sure what it was. So I had to pay for that. I had to pay for my coat to get tumble dried because I only have one coat, and that cost me money. This is so unfair. That there's no punishment for them. There's no reason why they're not going to do that again. You know, things happen in life and you have to get over them, and they're upsetting, but when things are mindless, there is no logic, there's no point. It's just showing power and like your aggression. I feel like it was really aggressive, the whole thing, like throwing the bottle down at me and then like throwing the water and then throwing other bottles out at me. It was just really aggressive and like animal like, and the noises they were making. Can't end this on like a ow, but justice was done and everything's, no, justice hasn't been done. It still plays on my mind because justice could be done. It's within the power of this building to do some kind of justice and punishment. It can be done very easily, but they've just decided not to. And that's annoying because there's no reason for that to have happened to me, and there's no reason for the building to now not take action. Let's love each other, let's treat everyone with respect, and I hope karma teaches those boys a lesson. I really do. I hope it catches up with them. I wonder how many people thought I was going to end the video on like, I've let it go, it's fine, I forgive them, like no. Vengeance. I genuinely think they need to be taught a lesson, and I hope someone teaches them a lesson at some point in their life. Sounds horrible, and it sounds like something you shouldn't say out loud, but we live in a system of like, if you commit a crime, there should be some kind of justice for your crime, and if there isn't in that moment, I hope life will give them justice. I hope the universe, like it made me move out of the way of that water bottle, I hope the universe will teach them a very serious lesson and let them know that they can't behave like senseless animals. Come on universe, do your work. Bye from me. I hope the universe dishes them out a very, very painful lesson. I genuinely do though. Bye.